Greetings, everyone. Thank you for joining us at Exchanging Ideas 42 Global 5G Evolution. I'm Kaneshwaran Govindasamy, the founder of Global 5G Evolution. Please take a couple of seconds to click subscribe button on our YouTube channel. The topic today that I would like to present is how generative AI is transforming the way telcos do business. Just to give a quick snapshot on this slide, generative AI has the potential to significantly increase telco productivity across the business and make leaps in customer experience, especially in customer care, sales, and marketing. For example, chatbots will become an exceptional front-end tool as they can discuss issues and requests with a more personalized approach using customer data and details. Agents will have their own personal assistant who is able to find data from knowledge bases and quickly guide them to more accurate responses. From a marketing perspective, Gen AI can create new and personalized content much faster, such as articles, blogs, social media posts, and can provide better advice, customer requests to close a sale. On the operation side, Gen AI solutions will be able to provide streamlined configuration, um, smarter recommendations, simplified network planning, and installation and configuration. Just to give some idea in terms of how will telco deliver it in terms of go-to-market model, there's few options here like subscription model, pay-per-use model, and partnership model. There are some examples as you can see on the slide. If anyone who is really interested to know the details of real case studies of these go-to-market strategies, please do contact us. We can able to run workshops and or we can provide detailed reports in terms of these go-to-market models for Gen AI uh, for telcos. Now, in terms of Gen AI use cases in a telco, I just want to touch a little bit about the human machine and specifically into the IVR. And Gen AI can be used to develop IVR systems that can understand and respond to natural language queries. This makes it easier for customers target the help they need without to go through a complex menu system. And Gen AI can be used to train machine learning models that can predict customer needs and preference. Some specific examples of how telcos that are using generative AI today, like for example, AT&T using Gen AI to develop chatbots that can keep customers with a variety of tasks, such as troubleshooting problems and managing the accounts. Number two is like Vodafone is using Gen AI to develop a system that can predict customer churn and proactively offer customer incentives to stay. Number three is Dutch Telecom is using Gen AI to develop systems that can optimize network performance and reduce costs. And Telefonica is using generative AI to develop systems that can detect fraud and protect customers from financial losses. This is a use case that I was specifically want to discuss was the China Mobile B2C, the 5G new calling. And China Mobile's visualized voice calling service is a new way to communicate that combines the convenience of voice calls with the engagement of video calls. And the service allows users to transmit a pre-recorded video or animation to the other party during a voice call. And this service is powered by 5G, which is provide the high bandwidth and low latency that's needed to transmit the video and audio in real time. And China Mobile plans to make the service available nationwide by the end of 2023. The best part is the 5G new calling can integrate with a variety of intelligence services such as the AI voice assistants and visualized recognitions. China Mobile also offers 5G new calling powered real time in terms of translation services as well. So in terms to understand more the B2C, like the personality showcase and also the B2B media publicity platform, for example, the Jiangsu mobile case study, please do contact us. We can able to run a detailed workshop or even detailed case study report as well. Now, this is a market map, generative AI for virtual world. This is sourced from John Rodoff. He has actually given a good example of layers of the value chain, the map of the market, and it has been split into 7 layers: the experiences, which is the playground, applications, and virtual worlds that are most impacted by generative AI; the discovery, which is the companies that make it easier to find and connect the virtual world, content, and experiences. Companies here have the social community of search aspect. Number 3 is the creator economy, where the companies that are making the tools and compositions frameworks that is making it easier to create content of virtual worlds. And it also includes like software as a service or API driven approach to enable the AI applications. Number 4 is spatial computing, is the companies that are bridging the realm of generative AI technologies on 3D environments, such as animating models, neural radiance fields as well. And number 5th is decentralization, where they that are making AI accessible to the world in terms of companies that they can include the open source AI communities and open source libraries as well. And number 6 is the human interface, is the technology that makes it possible for us to make use of AI. This is mostly packed hardware products such as AI, VR devices as well. And lastly is the infrastructure, is the fundamental technology that enable AI. And this is the realm of the physical machines, chip making equipment from ASML, chip manufacturers like NVIDIA, and other companies deploying the network of equipment. So basically, we Global 5G Evolution, we are a global 5G community. So far, we have 5,600 plus followers. And it's a community platform providing millions of engineers and solution architects with informative content to help them innovate in 5G. And it is an ecosystem for engineers to learn 5G and collaborate on projects as well. Our YouTube has surpassed 2,320 subscribers. We have 40,000 YouTube views, over 2,000 YouTube watch time hours, and a 56 countries YouTube engagement. And what I'm doing this is a very noble uh, thing that I'm providing to get more students, young engineers to be involved in the telecom industry. And so our philosophy is to empower mobile network operators, startups, researchers, professionals, constantly re-evaluating their strategies based on the ever-evolving business and market conditions. And our platform will help them to get connected with the community ecosystem. I myself been ranked number 16 in the Analytica report 2023 in June to be 5G top 50 influencer. And then my role is being as a 5G market analyst. And we would love to collaborate with vendors, mobile network operators, telecom companies in terms of co-organize the 5G fireside chat. We can able to work together and host webinars. We're also looking for sponsorships for our exchanging ideas monthly program. Anyone wants to be a YouTube partner or a LinkedIn page partner, we can help to upload your videos. We can write blogs, stories, articles, posts. We can be a speaker at the events, or we can be analysts at your events as well. So these are some of the areas that we are offering our services. And in Telecom World Asia, if you happen to be there in Bangkok, Thailand, 15th, 16th November, please do visit us at booth SP09, and we could able to discuss more. So that's it from my side. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. So moving on, let me introduce the next speaker. I would like to invite Reza Talebi from Vancouver, Canada, to present on telcos to techos harnessing data in a competitive space. Over to you, Reza.
Hello, everyone. I hope all is well with you. And thanks for having me today. And also, let's say a special thanks from Kanish to organizing this session for today. Following my background in working for different mobile operators, network department, and also in parallel IT department, I'm gonna to talk about the telco and tech companies and harnessing data in a competitive space. I'm not sure my presentation is in the right way or not.
It's correct.
Okay, good. Sounds good. Yeah. As everybody knows, in these days, one of the very important things is, working with data and how we should use it, how we should form it, how we should collect it. And the things that is very important is in the mobile operators, there is a big chance to be able to reform this industry, to also support any small businesses, to do something very positive and bring a lot of positive change to the to the life of the people, and also in parallel to do a lot of support for health, for security, for a lot of things that can happen with the collaboration between telecom companies and tech companies. For sure, the power of data is clear for everyone, but from telecom companies' point of view, real-time insights is very, very important, as with the real-time data analysis, companies can do some necessary optimization regarding their services and also make quick decisions. And what is very important in this part is the prediction of customer behavior. The second one is network efficiency. For sure, for the telecom companies, data is very, very important to be sure about the network capacity, and also in parallel optimizing network performance and improving service quality. And another thing is business opportunities. Data helps companies to identify new business opportunities, create innovative product and services. As you can see in some mobile operators or some other telecom companies, it is happening in these days. And a lot of market could be explored. Data in these days is as a new currency. It means that if we can, do a lot of things with data, we can bring money, we can generate money and revenue for everyone. Telecom companies now capitalize on valuable customer insights, transforming data into revenue stream. This is the first one, monetizing information. The second one is customized user experience. Data-driven personalization allows telecom companies to deliver tailored services and products for enhanced customer satisfaction. Therefore, the first one was revenue stream. Second one is customer satisfaction. The third one is strategic partnership, collaborating with technology companies to leverage data analytics tools and unlock new avenues of growth. That is not happening in these days in most of the countries because of a lot of governance issue, and also in parallel a lot of bureaucratic issue inside of the mobile operators or telecom companies. The challenges facing telecom companies. The first one is data silos. Telecom companies need to overcome issues of data silos. They are gathering a lot of information from whole subscribers. Suppose any mobile operator has at least 10 million subscribers. Therefore, 10 million subscribers are generating a lot of data every minute, every second. And the silos of data can be found in the mobile operators. But how they are gonna to use it to bring some positive change. Then second challenge is legacy system. You know what? In telecom companies, the first department, was the network department from several years ago. They established, and the network department is their main structure, But the IT departments inside of telecom companies, started from maybe 10 years ago, 15 years ago maximum. And it is not mature as network departments. Therefore, a lot of legacy systems can be found inside of the telecom companies, and they are not able to to overcome to these new challenges that is needed to reorganize themselves and also to bring something new to resolve this very important issue that they have inside of their companies. The third one is competition from tech companies. Telecom companies face steep competition from tech companies that excel in data analysis, making it difficult to differentiate and stay ahead of the curve. You know what? Telecom companies could earn a lot of money from telecom services very easily, from voice and data. They could earn money. They suppose that they can be ahead of the technology every time. But in these days, with the data analytics that is happening by tech companies, they are in the second layer. Instead of being in front, they are just media provider. The tech companies are another companies that is, that can be found in every country. Therefore, one of the very important challenges that in these days you can see in most of the telecom companies is competition from tech companies. Advantage tech companies have in data-driven innovation, and why the telecom companies should focus on the advantage of such kind of companies and reform themselves. The first one is digital ecosystem. You can see tech companies have extensive digital ecosystems, allowing seamless integration and utilization of data across various platforms. The second one is advanced analytic capabilities. It is very clear. Tech companies, they have a lot of engineers, they have a lot of tools, they have a lot of culture, they have so many innovative solutions for advanced analytic capabilities, but you cannot find same thing in most of the telecom companies. Agility and innovation culture. Another thing is tech companies are more agile. They can, foster innovation and also facilitating rapid experimentation and harnessing the power of data. And the last one is diverse data source. Tech companies tap into diverse data source, including social media, wearable and IoT devices, a lot of things, enriching their data analysis and innovation that you cannot find it in most of the telecom companies. Let's move to another things. Successful data-driven telecom companies and tech companies. The best company in the world from telecom company point of view regarding the data-driven is AT&T. AT&T leverage numerous data sources to optimize network performance, prevent fraud, and improve customer experience. From tech companies' point of view, Netflix is maybe the best or number one. Netflix uses data to present personalized content. You know what? If you open your Netflix account, you can see a lot of recommendation from Netflix for comedy, for anything. If TV shows or any movie, it is coming because of data analysis that they are doing. And another thing, tech companies, Alibaba. Alibaba has created a data-centric ecosystem that this company just now is able to manage all activities of buyers and sellers on its platform. The future of telecom companies as tech companies. Expectation from telecom companies increasingly, and it's ongoing. And customers increasingly expect businesses to use data to create personalized experience. I expect, as a mobile user from any mobile operator, to have a specific data package or some offer that can support my requirement. Another thing is opportunities. Telecom companies can enhance their data capabilities and offer new services through strategic partnership with tech companies. Because if they want to do such kind of work, they need to work on Saturday. The telecom companies are not ready for that big change. Another thing is challenge. Telecom companies need to invest in new capabilities, acquire new talent, new tools, new culture, and make organizational and cultural change to compete effectively in data-driven economy. My recommendation as a employee for more than 20 years in different mobile operators, cooperate creatively. Collaborate with innovative data startups. Please open the doors. Maybe you are thinking that telecom companies, they opened the windows. Maybe, I'm not sure. But if they want to be succeed, they should open the doors for startups and tech companies to gain fresh insights and reach more customers. Second one, adopt data-centric culture. Encourage all employees to understand and work data to make evidence-based decisions and data-driven and drive improvement in different organizations. And the last one is embrace AI and machine learning. It is important for any telecom companies to do and bring AI and machine learning into workflows to improve operational efficiency and business agility. As you can see, in these days, you can do a lot of things with the banks. On Saturday, you can go and open a new account in the banks. It is easily can be done on Saturday because they can earn money from that new client. But if you want to do something with the telecom companies, you cannot find them on Saturday because still they are rich and they have enough money in their hands. They should bring AI and machine learning to improve the processes. Thank you so much, and I appreciate your presence today. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you, Reza. I appreciate for your presentation. Thank you so much. Now, moving on to the next speaker, let me introduce Vicky-san from Taipei, Taiwan, to present 5G Core as a service. Over to you. Vicky, are you there? Vicky-san?
Yes. Sorry, I'm just trying to share my screen.
Yeah. Reza, are you able to stop share your slide? Yeah.
No, I can share. Sorry. Hello, everyone. Good day. This is Vicky Sang from Taipei, Taiwan, from Savia Technologies, a 5G Core as a service provider in Taiwan. Firstly, I would like to thank Ganesh for inviting me today for the session of Global 5G Evolution. I appreciate this opportunity to share some industry insights with all the experts here. Firstly, let's discuss what is 5G Core. To do that, we must introduce network architecture and the concept of a private 5G network. Let's check the figure on the middle left side. You will see a 5G RAN that receives and sends 5G signals to devices. And connected to the 5G RAN is the 5G core network. Usually, it's installed on a server. 5G Core is thought as the brain of the 5G mobile network. It manages and controls the performance of the 5G RAN devices and the AIoT applications behind it. The 5G mobile network that we commonly use on our smartphones is public network. However, if a network and its infrastructure are specifically built for a distinct area, such as smart factory with its infrastructure and the dedicated spectrum, it's referred to as a private network. In these settings, the devices can range from AGV, AMR, and the cameras to robot arms and more. The primary advantages of a private network include its dedicated nature and ability to tailor and customize to specific needs. Compared to Wi-Fi, 5G provides more accurate positioning and reliable connectivity. Next, we move to the most well-known features of the 5G network. They are enhanced mobile broadband, massive machine type communication, and ultra-reliable and low latency. Different applications have distinct requirements. For instance, a smart factory will need low latency and a massive machine type communication to manage and interoperate with multiple devices. The 5G core software is crucial to actualize and tailor these features to specific needs. Later, we will share some use case. So why the 5G core is essential to the 5G mobile network? To illustrate its significance, let's consider the functionalities delivered by Savia's 5G core as an example. One of the standout advantages of 5G is the disaggregation of the control plane and the user plane function, UPF. This distinction not only enhances network communication, but also bolsters efficiency. This innovative structure is known as service-based architecture, SBA. What SBA offers is a modular framework where the control plane functionality and the shared data repositories of a 5G network are facilitated through a series of interconnected network functions. Each network function is granted the capability to harness the services of other network functions. This design is not just architecturally advanced, but also highly strategic. SBA empowers service providers to expediently create, deploy, and even modify services to resonate with evolving customer demands. Furthermore, the flexibility inherent SBA allows providers to integrate novel technologies and the services into their existing networks with greater ease. This not only trims down deployment time and the costs, but is also projected to support the demand for SBA in the foreseeable future. The 5G core can actualize quality of service QoS features, such as network slicing and the time-sensitive networking TSN, particularly for scenarios that demand low latency. Furthermore, these requirements can be tailored to meet future service level agreements, SLA. So let's move to the business model of offering the 5G core as a service. The primary obligation of a 5G core software provider is to align with the specific needs and the objectives of vertical applications. When end users like factories, warehouses, or stadiums plan for digital transformation, they typically seek AIoT applications, devices, and infrastructural solutions. These solutions often come from a diverse pool of vendors, which may include system integrators, system vendors, application providers, and operators. Crucially, when they offer private 5G infrastructure solutions, the integration of 5G core software become indispensable. And this is where the role of the 5G core as a service provider shines. We supply the software and the services to these various vendors. In turn, these vendors can seamlessly integrate 5G core software into their systems to an end-to-end 5G network solution. And this integrated solution is pivotal in harnessing the full potential and the capabilities of AIoT applications. So now let's explore the deployment options for the 5G core network. Deployment strategies can be tailored to fit the unique needs of enterprises. Using Savia's 5G core as a service as a reference, it can be integrated into various hardware types, such as servers. If an enterprise desires a private 5G network to retain sensitive data internally, they can establish the 5G network entirely on premises. Simultaneously, the software offers the versatility to be hosted on public cloud platforms like AWS, Azure, and Google. It can also find a home in a private cloud or even a hybrid cloud setup, depending on the specific business requirements. Next, I would like to share a real case empowered by private 5G network. This case involves the digital transformation of a cable and wire manufacturer aiming for wireless smart manufacturing application. This manufacturer faced a significant challenge. Every time when they modify the production line, it usually takes them 1 to 2 weeks to modify the production line before they can even begin to produce. However, after integrating AIoT applications and the private 5G mobile network, the time required to modify their production line dramatically reduced to 1 to 2 days. As a result, they not only enhance their yield rates, but also significantly reduce downtime, leading to increased efficiency and productivity. In the second case, we explore the specialized use of private 5G for an esports arena in Taiwan. This project uniquely features drone racing combined with a mixed reality display. By harnessing the capability of 5G, specifically its low latency and the broadband attributes, the drones can be controlled with pinpoint accuracy, even during high-speed races. Concurrently, 5G cameras transmit video stream to broadcast the events. Remarkably, this transmission boasts an ultra-low latency of less than 0.05 milliseconds. So the show can finally deliver a seamless mixed reality experience that truly immerses the on-site audiences. So that's much my presentation today. Thank you for inviting me and your attention. Thank you.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Vicky-san. Appreciate that. Now, let me introduce the next speaker, Rodolfo Di Muro from Genoa, Italy, to present on 5G network slicing enabling business model innovation. Over to you, Rodolfo.
Hi. Hi, Ganesh. Let me find the presentation. Can you see my presentation?
Yes, sir.
Yes, okay. Good morning, good afternoon, everybody. First of all, thank you very much, Ganesh, for inviting me to speak in this global 5G evolution. My name is Rodolfo Di Muro, and I am an advisor for strategy, for technology, but also for investment within the ICT, including the 5G for the CSP, as well as the hyperscaler nowadays. And also I'm supporting the consulting firm. I have 29 years of experience and competencies for working in different telecom operator like Nortel Network, Marconi Ericsson, but also Huawei. Today, I want to focus on the network slicing enabling a business model also as a part of a consulting that I've recently done. I want to highlight the topics with going not in great detail, but I want to give the key essential point. First of all, 5G is a journey that requires a lot of feature, but also a lot of investment. The real point is starting from the left-hand side is that the success for implementing the 5G solution with a positive result is depending on the strategic approach, and this is very well known. And the example we have here, different feature that the executive need to implement, but also is very important the timeline in which the executive need to discuss this technology in the boardroom. And it's clear that no operator can optimize the service in full with all the technical parameter because we have the latency, the reliability, we have the coverage, the low cost, but this requires balancing. It requires balancing among this functionality and among the service that the operator want to deliver. The internal organization needs to change, and I've given just some snapshot here from the operator are moving not only from a connectivity from a B2C, but also from a premium connectivity. So they have created the so-called CTIO, the CIO, because they are moving towards the B2B aspect. As well, they want to be the fully provider of a platform like the unified communication as a service. So the technical decisions are vital, and this will impact the investment for launching anything under the claim of the 5G, whether it's a 5G NSA, as the majority of the operator, they are focusing for anchor towards the LTE, or the 5G SA that require the 5G core, as the previous speaker was highlighted. But one of the focus that is on here is to meeting the customer experience that he was focusing to reduce the OPEX, but also to reduce the CAPEX, because in order to be successfully from this digital network slicing, it required the implementation, first of all, of the 5G core, but also requiring full the solution called the 5G SA in the full benefit. So let's moving what is the dynamic network slicing or the network slicing. And here I starting with some of the question, is this really a strategic error that I had the option to discuss? In reality, it's not a strategic error, but is recognized that is the next level of innovation. So companies that are discussing now the generative AI, this will really be an enabling from this network slicing, because the network slicing will enable service provider to build the virtualized end-to-end network that is tailored to their application. And here we're talking about a single common network that is dimensioned for multiple return or multiple services, because enabling this multiple service, whether it's mobile broadband, machine to machine, or low latency communication, to separate this network with a specific use case, as we know, with the quality of service, with the security, with the scalability. It is fully acknowledged that it's a complex machine because it requires a reward, it requires the dimensioning of the network, the right dimensioning. And I will talk on the next slide, the number of use cases, how many? This has been one of the questions. We focus on 5, we will focus on 20. What is the right balancing for the benefit? But it's a complex because it required the integration of the OSS with also the network slicing capability, because for each slice of service, we need to manage the resources. So it's requiring the forward, the control, but also the managed entity with the right isolation. And this will be enhanced with the AI or also with the generative AI. From one snapshot, when we talk about the digital network slicing, is requiring a terminal capability, but also if we are addressing from an enterprise, we also need to have the enterprise web portal where you need to create the service, you need to create the monitoring and monitor the KPI for that. It requires to address from the BSS point of view, the business aspect from the communication, but also allocated the resources from an operational point of view in all the different domains, access network, the core network, but also the transport network. And it's clear that today, some aspect from access network and core network, they are done with the so-called single network slicing selection assistance information that is a unique identifier, where the transport network is still use the VLAN. But it's clear that it's growing. There are growing expectations from a market point of view, but also from an announcement point of view. And we saw the Vodafone was one of the first in the Mobile World Congress in Las Vegas. Also, T-Mobile has announced the capability to move in towards the network slicing in their country. And we saw the connection between the Samsung and KDDI to forming an alliance in order to make progress regarding this capability. What I want to highlight is some of the methodology that are following from many operators, because in order to be successfully, we need to tailor the service according to the market. So it's coming to have a list of the service, whether it's from a B2C or B2B, that addressing, example, the entertainment, addressing the smart manufacturing, the hardware, the automotive, and the transportation. It try to make the connectivity that is demanding for each operator, but also the strategic advantages, the maturity of the technology, is starting to ranking them and making a selection of the useful use cases. It's clear that there is a balancing between the bandwidth throughput regarding the delay that is required into the network, how the operator need to change the infrastructure in order to cope with innovative service. Can they do with existing network with starting to monetize, starting to boosting the throughput of their infrastructure, and then progressing steadily. So AI, and this is the key important aspect, is really the fertile ground for fostering innovation. And we will see more and more, thanks also to this generative AI, that generative AI is on the top of from many CEO in many telecom operators. But key important is the strategy that many operators are following. To select the service to launch, first of all, to starting to make the changes into the infrastructure for a monetization, make a priority from an investment, but in the sense that starting from the access, starting through the core, and then changing from an operational point of view. moving towards an operational aspect, because it is clear that the reason to move towards a cloud is to make an OPEX reduction and to move towards an automatization. And then to moving towards the network slicing, that means really bring the service on demand and really make the last step that the operator demands. So from a communication service provider, there are many aspects, but also from the small, medium enterprise, they require a stable connection, as we saw before from a manufacturing point of view, but also the security connection from a bank, or also a personalized experience that is important to have it. And many are concerning. It is a complex, the network slicing will be done in 5G or 6G. The key question is there are challenges for integrating with the multi-vendor, but everything that will not be done in the 5G, there is an allocation regarding 6G, because 6G is tailored with artificial intelligence that support the network slicing with the sensor. And thank you very much for listening to me.
Thank you so much, Dr. Rodolfo. That was so brilliant, fantastic. Really appreciate that. So now moving on to the next speaker, I would like to introduce Päivi Laakso-Kuivalainen from Helsinki, Finland, to present on location-based AR, visual positioning, and how they are a great use case for 5G. Over to you, Päivi.
Thank you, Ganesh. Thank you for the opportunity to speak in this 5G related webinar about different topics. Mine is maybe wider away from the 5G, but still, as mentioned in the title, it's very much relevant use case and is creating very important use cases for 5G. So the company name where I work is Immersal, and we are a visual positioning company. And visual positioning is enabling interesting use cases for 5G. Immersal is a spatial mapping and visual positioning tool company. So software, we are doing software. The company was founded in 2015, and it was acquired by Hexagon, a big Swedish company, in 2021. So we are not a startup anymore. We're more like a scale up, developing this technology and offering it, for example, for the mobile network operators, because we see this as a great business opportunity for them, the visual positioning and the applications you can build on top of it. Spatial mapping means that we are creating a map of the real world, a machine-readable map. The map is based on images. You take images of the environment with our mapping tools. They can be smartphones, or they can be specific scanners that our parent company Hexagon, for example, is providing, but a smartphone is enough. You take images of the room, or of the building, or of the city that you want to map, and then you send out those images to our server, and there's a computer vision algorithm analyzing those images and creating a map of real world, visual positioning map. And at the other phase of the process is the visual positioning. So then based on that map, every device, whether it's a smartphone or AR glasses, these are just regular glasses though, knows where it is. So you know exactly where you are in that visual positioning map. The device, I mean, it knows, and it also knows this how it's tilted, this 6 degrees of freedom. So amazing applications can be built on that information, that you know exactly where you are and how your device is. So you can build different AR experiences, augmented reality experiences based on that. There are, of course, other companies doing this as well, players like Snap or Google or Niantic, but Immersal is a bit different. When you build with Immersal, you own the content and you own the maps that you create. So you can do this completely separately from those tech giants, and this is how it really creates an opportunity for the mobile network operators all over the world to map their cities, to map their countries even, and then offer this visual positioning maps as a service to enterprises, to consumers, to game developers, whoever wants to use this machine-readable map of the world. I have an example from the US. This is baseball from this summer. Our visual positioning technology was used in a stadium in the US to create an application for the fans at the stadium, baseball fans, and they with AR content. So just moving ahead. So there are different examples. So wherever you were sitting on the stadium, you were able to open your smartphone and see this kind of statistics, this kind of additional information about the baseball event in this case. But of course, the same could be applied to any other sports, concerts, all kinds of things. And this was now a stadium-wide experience, but you could, of course, map a whole city or even a whole country with the same technology. Another example we had was in Japan, also this summer. Again, a stadium was mapped. This is an example of bringing communities together with this kind of augmented reality AR apps. So that's what the map looks like. Actually, now on the video, that's the VPS map of that Nissan Stadium in Japan. This application was created for concert visitors, and they were able to use it before the concert started. So they were able to send their wishes and greetings to the band, or everybody could see them floating in the air, as you see on the video, and they would then form the band's logo on the stage. All these, we love you, and we are really looking forward to the concert, all these greetings. So in a way, AR and visual positioning behind the AR are able to bring communities together. They are able to express feelings and things that were maybe not possible before. And I think there's great business potential in this for the mobile network operators all over the world. And for example, in Japan, Rakuten has tested visual positioning a lot and has created quite interesting applications for their customers. Of course, proof of concepts box so far, but eventually we hope that these will become like real products that they will offer to their customers. Here are the links to to 5G. So why is this visual positioning relevant now in the 5G era and not before or not after that? Of course, fast data transfer. The visual positioning and augmented reality apps don't have to be very heavy, but sometimes they are. If you're creating really amazing 3D animations that you want people to experience, then there will be a lot of data involved. Minimal latency is, of course, something that 5G is offering, and it ensures this kind of smooth and responsive AR experiences. Depending on how you develop those experiences, you don't always need 5G, but as mentioned, this latency will ensure that they will work really nicely on the consumers' phones or AR glasses, whichever they are using. The edge computing is, of course, something that also guarantees this kind of smooth experience. The fact that the computing, the calculations about the location of the user and what needs to be shown to the user can happen close to the user. We can again reduce the time and ensure the smooth experience. High quality AR, like I mentioned, not all AR requires 5G. We can get started with 4G and then move on to 5G. But when it's really high quality, when it's amazing 3D level graphics, and when it's the gorillas playing as giants on the Times Square, that was not our technology. It was one of the competitors, but it was a good example of really high quality data, high data amounts of AR. And of course, then scalability. 5G has the scalability to accommodate this large number of connected devices, all of them using some kind of location-based AR based on visual positioning maps. Yeah, so I hope you now are all quite curious about visual positioning and would like to know a little bit more about it and can see the business potential for the mobile network operators. Thank you for the opportunity, Kanesh.
Thank you, Paivi. Excellent, very impressive Immersal VPS, visual positioning. Something new I have learned as well. Thank you so much. The great presentation. Now, moving on to the next speaker, let me introduce Buse El Abram Bilgin from Istanbul, Turkey, to present empowering energy efficiency with smart solutions in 5G.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, Buse.
Yes. Let me... Yes, I think you can see my screen, right?
Yes.
Perfect. Hi all again, and thank you for the invitation and this opportunity. I'm Buse from Turkcell's Next Generation R&D team. I want to start with a brief introduction of my team. Our team is well experienced in research with more than 850 projects on different verticals in various tier levels. We have more than 150 projects funded by national or international programs. And we are highly productive in terms of academic and technical publications, startup mentoring and collaborations, and also national and international patent applications. And besides all of that, at the beginning of this year, we just established a new research lab called 6Gen Lab, focusing on AI and 6G for autonomous networks. And among all of us our focusing areas, the energy efficiency is one of the most critical research topics due to the increasing energy consumption with next generation technologies, as you all guess. And as Turkcell Group, we take the initiative in reducing the environmental impact of our operational activities and develop our daily practices and business processes in accordance with sustainable innovation principles. As announced in our latest sustainability report, we set a remarkable target. We aim to transform into a completely carbon neutral company by 2050. And by continuing investments focused on environmental sustainability and efficiency in the upcoming periods as well, we intend to meet 100% of the energy needs from the renewable energy sources by 2030. And for this purpose, each unit conducted a situation analysis within itself and began to create an action plan. And similarly, as network technology unit, we have also started our own situation analysis, and the findings were quite striking actually. First of all, it comes out that the Turkcells and the Samsungs, which is one of the city in Turkey where 1.4 million people are living in, residential energy consumption are in parallel. And Turkcell's yearly energy consumption is nearly equal to the yearly production of Portugal hydropower plants. And also we know that in every technological investment, energy needs rise dramatically. And with the adaptation of 5G technology, our current energy consumption will increase exponentially. 5G certainly promises substantial boost to data transmission rates, but as you can see from the graph also, with great power comes with great responsibility, of course. And in this case, that is the power consumption. And starting from today, we need to begin working on energy efficiency issues for tomorrow's technologies and tomorrow's world. So, as network team, based on our initial analysis, we focused on energy efficiency solutions in infrastructure and business processes and initiated NTA++ project. And thanks to this project, in 2022, we saved more than 63.2 million kilowatt hours of energy. Also, Turkcell managed to reduce its total energy consumption by 3.4% compared to the previous years, despite its growing infrastructure and increasing needs. Among all, the amount of saving achieved through Turkcell efficiency approach is equivalent to the annual total energy consumption of more than 22,000 households. And the target is to meet half of the energy needs from the sun by 2025 and 100% of its energy consumption from renewable sources by 2030. Therefore, we have initiated a new programs, solar program and green side program. Yes, since the beginning of 2020, we had already begun taking significant steps towards our goal through our projects. Yet this year we set a new challenging goal to ourselves to establish 750 solar cell sites. And so far we have completed the installation of approximately 650 sites, and we have saved around 1.1 gigawatt hour of electricity. And our projection is to add 200 more solar sites to our network within coming 2 years. And in addition to all of these, we are also conducting solar power plants in various cities across Turkey. With this ongoing project, we set to continue until the end of the year. We aim to achieve an annual energy production of 94.6 gigawatt hour in 2024. And by the end of the 2025, we aim to prevent 236 tons of carbon dioxide emission annually. As the leading mobile operator of Turkey, we will continue to invest in renewable energy. However, while doing so, we will of course continue to leverage one of our strongest assets, our R&D and innovation efforts. So, I would like to briefly mention a few projects we are currently working on and we'll see the results of in the coming periods. The first project that I want to introduce is AI for Green project, which places its focus on AI-assisted energy saving in live networks. In mobile networks, site capacity planning traditionally relies on forecast of high utilization in response to regional daily traffic demand. However, this often leads to many sites operating in underutilized mode, especially during nighttime hours. To address this challenge, Turkcell and PI Works collaborated on an innovative approach. We automated the process of sector shutdown during predicted periods of underutilization, all while considering quality of service metrics and customer experience. This decision-making process was empowered by data-driven machine learning approach. And with this approach, we obtained a 10% improvement in existing solution and substantial energy saving. And it's a testament of the power of AI in transforming not only our networks, but also our energy consumption patterns. The follow-up project to increase the energy efficiency further, and yes. The follow-up project to increase the energy efficiency further in next generation technologies has just been accepted, named Robust and AI Native 6G for Green Networks. Unlike other energy saving projects, this project is special to us because it not only focuses on energy saving, but also considers robustness and resilience of the mobile network. Our main aim is threefold: to enhance energy efficiency, strengthen network robustness, and improve resilience, especially during disasters. Moving on to our key strategies in terms of energy savings, we are not emphasizing efficient technology implementation, the development of energy efficiency algorithm, and rigorous monitoring of energy consumption. When it comes to network robustness, we are implementing both pre- and post-disaster measures and developing special solutions to minimize damage. To achieve this, especially during or after a disaster, an AI-assisted management system will play a role in recovering disrupted cells, antennas, or other network elements to maximize coverage while efficiently managing their battery units until full recovery is achieved. As a result of the project, we are expecting to ensure uninterrupted communication services even in challenging situations. And as I mentioned during the presentation, our mission is crystal clear: to enhance energy efficiency across every facet of RAN. As we all know, when traffic load decreases, so does the efficiency of our power supply units. That's why our smart energy management project is dedicated to determining the ideal number of power supply units to support our radio units, taking traffic load into account, of course. One of the ongoing projects is focusing on creating a platform that dynamically manages the power supply units within our radio units. This project began in 2021 thanks to the collaboration between Turkcell and Ericsson Sweden's R&D team. We harnessed the power consumption data collected from Turkcell's side, using it to train an AI platform that makes a vendor-agnostic decision. And by December 2023, we anticipated our first test results, and our ultimate goal is to reduce the average energy consumption by up to 2%, all without the need for hardware upgrades. Finally, as I mentioned in the beginning of my presentation, we set clear goals. By the year 2030, we aim to meet 100% of our energy consumption from renewable sources. This is a testament to our commitment to environmental preservation and building a sustainable future. But that's not all. We are on a journey to transform into a completely carbon neutral company by 2050. With our projects, we've already started laying the groundwork for this ambitious path. As I mentioned during my presentation while discussing the projects, we attempted to approach the topic of energy efficiency from several different angles. For instance, first, we've been meticulously optimizing our infrastructure and refining our business processes to save energy. Second, our solar and green site installations have been making significant strides in energy production. And finally, our utilization of cutting-edge AI and ML solutions will allow us to optimize our operations. As you can see, these projects are not just about sustainability, they're also about smart investment for future. Lastly, with these projects, we're not just making networks smarter, we are making them greener too. And now it's time to accelerate our journey with greener network. And our targets are bold, our strategies are well defined. And as we move forward, we do not want to just embrace change. We would like to drive it by building a more eco-friendly and efficient network. Therefore, in the upcoming period, we will continue our R&D efforts, especially with the support of artificial intelligence, without slowing down. And we are more than happy to collaborate the partners on the energy-based projects always. Thank you so much.
That was fantastic. Thank you so much, Buse. Really appreciate for your presentation. Brilliant. So, yeah, I would like to introduce Niladri Shegar. Ruta, are you there? From Stockholm, Sweden. I know that you are not feeling good or what. Maybe you want to give some words in terms of your presentation. About your topic, network as a service. I can't hear you, Niladri. You are muted. Oh, I can't hear you. No, I can't hear you. Your voice.
Is it better now?
Yes, it works now.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So first and foremost, Ganesh, thank you for including me in this August panel. I'm very sick today. You can see my face; it reflects that I'm really not well. I was hoping that this is a platform where we can exchange and ideate, and that's one of the reasons I thought that it's more of an informal platform. But when I came here, I saw everybody presenting, and obviously I didn't come prepared with slides because um, my favorite topic is actually on 5G network monetization, and I can present in the next session, but I would like to uh, leave the floor open for some ideas in terms of the whole 5G NSA migrations that has NSA to SA migrations that are happening. And I think somebody presented on 5G core. I think the lady from Taiwan. I don't know whether she's still there. So a lot of operators in Europe, especially the tier ones, are actually falling behind Asia Pac and US when it comes to NSA to SA migrations. One of the reasons for that is they were not aggressive enough, both in terms of their investments and in terms of their strategy of why and what they should be doing when it came to the network as a service exposure layer. One of the fundamental disconnects that I predominantly see in the European telecom market compared to the North American and the Asia Pac market is the rate of, or the speed or the momentum of network exposure. First and foremost, I think there is a three-tiered approach that we need to take. Um, why network exposure in the first place? Of course, as we all know, that in 5G, the radio network comprises 80% of the overall cost. The core is almost 20%. So a lot of these operators, especially, I'm going to name a few now. I don't know whether that's appropriate. The likes of Telenor, the likes of TDC, where in Scandinavia, even the likes of Wintry in Italy. I think Rodolfo would know this. He's from Italy. Um, then there are other tier one operators, including the likes of Telefonica, who were pretty slow because they were thinking that disaggregating the network is not perhaps the right strategy. So the why took a lot of time to justify. Then came the second step, which is the approach. Now, when they saw an alternate mechanism, because a large part of this disaggregation story resulted because of this whole telco cloud exposure and the telco cloud journey, which Rakuten started with AT&T, Rakuten, Vodafone, and a few others, where the disaggregation of network came into prominence, and a lot of software companies started acquiring network-centric skills and showed the world how it is to be done, especially to the telcos,
Right.
right? So I think once the why became justified to these companies, so you will see Telenor, still following the classic vanilla way, where they take everything from Ericsson. And I am an ex-Ericsson employee. I've worked with Ericsson for almost 11, 12 years. At the same time, you see Telia, which is another one large operator. They're completely on a different end of the spectrum. They have disaggregated the network while they have gone from 5G non-standalone to standalone. And especially with this migration, they have resorted to the network as a service as a strategy. And the way they accelerated it was largely looking at the telco cloud as a platform in the non-standalone space by collaborating with the likes of VMware Tanzu, similar to what AT&T did in with Microsoft Nexus, similar to what Vodafone did with VMware as well, right? So if you are okay with the why, uh, there was a general impression that the overhead cost of maintaining and managing two kinds of platforms and solutions is usually higher than managing one platform, which means the vertical stack is always lower in terms of OPEX to manage than the horizontal stack, which to me is an incorrect assumption. Because if you do an apple to apple comparison and if you do a like for like OPEX analysis, you yourself will come to know that in the CPaaS or in the CAS layer and in the actual physical layer, if you include all overheads, there is hardly any difference between either a horizontal stack and a vertical stack. It is a reality. So if you look at Wintry as a reference, and if you look at Telenor as a reference, and at the same time, if you look Vodafone as a reference, where the network is completely disaggregated and following a NaaS approach, whereas Wintry tends to follow a NaaS approach only with the vendors, and they believe in vendor lock-in. So everything is dependent on Ericsson. So if Ericsson can deliver something to Wintry, then the API will work. If the API is not capable to be delivered by Ericsson, then they will not roll out the service. So long story short, the approach is a debatable approach, whether the vertical stack is a best approach for NaaS or a horizontal stack is a best approach for NaaS. If you ask me personally, I am a strong advocacy. I would be a strong advocate for a horizontal or a disaggregated network, because a disaggregated network would basically expose much more network APIs and much more services, where the network in its true potential will come to light, especially when it comes to monetization and monetization like services. So that's the approach. So you have the why, then you have the approach, and finally you have the solution. Now in solution, and I would like to maybe show you 3-4 slides in the next session. The solution is kind of strange because people are still exploring, and that's where the convergence of OSS and networks, and perhaps to a large extent even the customer BSS layer is also happening as we speak. And this is because of 5G, and the whole 5G monetization journey is dependent on these solutions that I'm going to basically state now. First is the NaaS exposure through telco cloud. So whenever catalog driven platform solution, you are basically trying to reduce time to market by exposing a whole plethora of services. There's no denial. That's going to be supported by your open APIs, which are driven by any standard. Nowadays, there is a strong advocacy of open digital architecture standards by TM Forum. So a lot of operators are basically going and advocating that. Second is the end-to-end service management when it comes to process orchestration. Now, of course, we all know that orchestration and management are the fundamental aspects if you want to roll out any 5G service, whether it's in the EMBB space or in the URLCC space or in the massive IoT space. And slice is basically the way to monetize it, or basically the lowest common denominator to monetize it. So therefore, end-to-end service management and process orchestration holds the key. Finally, I would also like to talk about two more aspects. One is the VNF and cloud network, both from a reconciliation perspective as well as the data quality that resides across the VNFs and the CNFs. I think this is largely driven by rule-based policy automation, which most service management and orchestration vendors are cognizant of. If we want to monetize the network, and we want to monetize it at scale, not sporadically by one use case here and one use case there. If we want to monetize it at scale and industrialize this, this is of fundamental importance. And last but not the least, uh, the network domain building blocks exposure layer. I think that's also very, very important. A lot of the NEPs are trying to capitalize on that because they were obviously late in the cloud native game for simple reasons that they did not want to cannibalize their own business. But the NEPs themselves have realized that they need software services vendors who can basically superimpose those APIs and fast track the monetization journey while they deploy 5G core and 5G core network like services across multiple operators while they go from NSA to SA migration. So these would be my 3-stage approach in terms of 5G network exposure and monetization: the why, the approach, and the possible solutions.
Great. You have anything to add on, or no?
No, I'm fine.
Yeah,
I
no,
would
I have,
love to present
no, I
maybe next time. Sorry, Ganesh. Yeah.
sure. No, that was a good, really good of you. Thank you so much. Despite of you're not feeling well, I really appreciate for your time to
Yeah.
brainstorm some key points here. Um, some points that you have mentioned, it was really straight. You nailed it, right, in terms of the decentralization. Why the major operators are still not into decentralization. Some are really careful in their planning. Like for example, Vodafone, they have actually started a couple of years ago in some rural area with the open cloud, open RAN solutions, and they didn't want to actually impact the major city area because of the complexity, and they don't really know whether it will be a successful, because there were quite number of complexities were happening because of variety of components that's involved in the open RAN and open cloud solutions. Kubernetes was just started to pick up in a couple of years ago as well. So I think there's more players are coming into the open RAN or family as well. You can see a lot more players in terms of the hardware, the software, the SI system integrators. So there's more players are coming in, and I think it will take time. You can't see the immediate results, but the interest part from my point of view is that if you see for the major mobile operators in terms of different regions who have boldly moved to the standalone despite of the cost, because standalone is huge cost compared to the non-standalone, right?
Of course. Of course.
And, and
I think, yeah, yeah.
and
I think one important point, if I may add, a lot of the 5G initial demand or the market readiness was more from a branding standpoint. People just went all out to somehow upgrade the radio side and forget the core side. What I was referring to, if you want to really monetize, you need to virtualize the core. Because without core virtualization, you cannot do it at scale. Because 5G access network, although it is super expensive, is always for the consumer. And if you want to really make money in 5G, it is not through consumers, it is through the enterprise. Now, if you want to monetize 5G and show its true potential at and industrialize it at scale, then it has to have the disaggregated strategy in the core. And that's where the NSA to SA migrations are happening now as we speak. Because most operators thought that they would make the core non-standalone and run the normal, radio network at 5G using a 4G core. But eventually that's not going to work if you want to industrialize at scale. You have to go for 5G core non-standalone to standalone migration. That's a
yes,
reality.
yes, yes.
Sorry.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. At the same time, what I realized that Asia Pacific mobile network operators are taking the lead in terms of the standalone
Absolutely.
deployment compared to
Absolutely.
Europe or US.
Yeah,
So
Europe is the most laggard. You will be surprised, most
yes,
laggard. And this is very strange because in 4G, they were perhaps ahead of the curve, and now in 5G, they're behind every market, including Middle East. Because I work extensively in Europe and Middle East, and I can tell you, even some Middle East operators are more aggressive than European operators.
right.
I don't know why.
Hmm. Anyone wants to add here?
Yes, if I can, Kanesh, and thank you, Nilard. I would like to add a few concepts, and I fully agree with your presentation regarding the monetization. My first concept is the following. When we talk about moving towards 5G, we really need to understand it, that there is a technology path, an operational path, and a service path. Because, example, what you mentioned, ODA, the digital architecture, it come into the service path. And these three aspects are not following or progressing at the same time. And we know 2 years back or even now, technology get a maturity around 80%, operational talking about the CSP or company, they have moved towards the CI/CD, the full DevOps. They are still sitting around 40% of implementation, and the service is a bit behind. We are still on the 20-30%, because this involves also an organizational change. You remove people from operation, from maintenance, but then you need to add into the service, because the network slice is complex. And there where you need for each slice, for each service, many people in order to fully accomplish. This was the first concept. The second, that regarding Europe, I fully agree that what you mentioned regarding the Asia part taking the lead, but the operator in the Europe that have made the transition towards the 5G, they have recognized it's not for monetization, it's not for capitalizing in revenue, it's more for an efficiency and you managing, because many operators want to invest, but then want to see the return and want to do steadily progress. So they keep the 4G network as it is, and they try to launch the new 5G service as an overlay, let's say, or for a specific use case. And this is the majority that they are. They know they need to have a transition, but this transition need to be supported, as you know, from a revenue and from an investment. And unfortunately, the European operator are having a lot of pressure from the European point of view, from the taxation, from the legislation, because if you consider the energy has increased in terms of costing for the user, even during this geopolitical, but the premium or the service on telecom has kept the same. You had a contract 5-6 years ago and you keep the same rate. So this is another aspect that has a play into the equation, foresee the European falling a bit behind, in my point of view.
Yeah, can't agree more, Rodolfo. I think also one of the reasons for being defensive is the kind of aggressiveness that they had shown in 4G and the kind of success they expected in 4G LTE. They did not see that in 4G. So they have become a bit defensive with 5G compared to what they have. I mean, in a way, they have kind of burned their hands with 4G. A lot of operators, if I mean, the only European operator when it comes to network disaggregation and monetization, who's leading the way in Europe for me is Vodafone. I think Vodafone is doing some great stuff there. Of course, in Scandinavia, Telia has followed the disaggregated approach, but I'm not sure, how much or to what extent Telia has been successful in completely monetizing it. If you look at the example that I'll give you now for with Geo in India or with Rakuten, including even Etisalat in the Middle East, or even AT&T. Somebody showed AT&T as the operator to look forward to. AT&T in the US, even Verizon in the US. I think they're a little ahead of the curve, and I think. I have nothing against the NEPs because I have spent a long time in my career in an NEP. The challenge that the NEP also needs to acknowledge that not every equipment or device will come with a set of preloaded APIs. So therefore, to realize a service, certain customizable APIs are mandatory while you want to roll out networks services at scale. That's why you need a software company. That's why you have software companies acquiring this huge network engineering firms these days, or services companies. At the end of the day, it's basically an API, which is nothing but a software code. And that's also the beauty of software defined networking, I believe, and which software companies are capitalizing. So my only submission is operators need to be a little more open. NEPs need to be a little more open. The more they collaborate, the more the industry grows, the more use cases we will see at scale. And most importantly, all of this, big, um, you know, hula baloo about this 5G not getting monetized, this will actually happen if we have the right set of people collaborating with one another and making it happen. That's the point.
I
Yeah, I
have
fully
one.
agree with your point.
Sorry, I have
Yes.
one point here, very quick one. I just questioning myself when the disaggregation was actually initially started during the 4G in Geo and was pioneered by Mr. Tariq Amin at that time, and that's how he moved to Rakuten and how they went so broadly. They really went all out on an international level in promoting the desegregation as well. So to till in partnering with NEC and making the hardwares and all that stuff. But today, I'm not sure, as you know, that Tariq Amin is no longer with Rakuten, and that actually made a big question mark in terms the question of where is the direction of the open RAN and open core and open cloud. Is it still on track, or is there some sort of stop, or there's a decline in terms of the progress?
No, I think, Ganesh, that's a very good observation. But at the same time, we must understand that Rakuten wanted to do too many things in too little time. That's also not a very right, being over aggressive is also not the right strategy. And the whole story about being a techco or a transformation of a telco to a techco journey, right? So every CXO is now wanting to be a technology enablement company. You go and talk to any CTO, CIO of a telecom operator, they'll say, no, we are not a service provider, we are a tech company, right? I think somebody were presenting about the telco techco journey. 5G is an enabler to that journey. See, what went against Rakuten, I mean, obviously what clicked in favor also went against when they got a little overboard with providing cloud services themselves.
Mm.
So I'm not expecting Rakuten to replace a hyperscaler. But if Rakuten's vision was to be a Microsoft or a Google or a Amazon and replace them and give them competition or collaborate, they started as co-partners, then they wanted to be equal, and then they wanted to replace. In that over aggressiveness, I think they went a little overboard with developing lots of solutions, which were tech solutions. My submission here is different. I'm talking about a strategy which telcos needs to do. Now, whether they do it with A platform or B platform is a different choice. But telcos, and most importantly, their uh, loyalty to the network equipment vendors like Nokia, Ericsson, Huawei need needs. I mean, that needs to be revisited,
Mm.
and that needs to be revisited for a reason, because if I have to monetize my network by rolling out a bunch of EMBB use cases or a bunch of URLCC use cases for which I need a special set of APIs, which my NEP is not providing me, then I need somebody to provide me those APIs, because those APIs are nothing but software codes which will run as patches or change releases on top of my physical software defined network. That can be from an IT company, that can be from network software company. I really don't care as a telco, because at the end of the day, when I monetize my network, not just I gain, everybody who's downstream in the value chain also gains with me. A certain percentage goes to my software vendor, a certain percentage goes to my hardware vendor, and obviously whoever is in the game with me. So I'm saying that then the whole adaptability of 5G as a technology becomes a success story. The industry is not able to see the growth that it wants to for the last 3 years, because we were not able to monetize 5G at the rate as we would like to. That's a fair point, I believe. It's a fair point, because if you see the vertical stack, a lot of CTOs are challenged by the CFOs, because the CFO mindset was, if you want to invest in one platform versus a two platform, a maintenance and management of a two platform is always more than a one platform story. So why not to have another botheration of disaggregating the VNFs and the CNFs and the hypervisor into somewhere else and run it as a platform, give it to somewhere who's a platform provider, and then give it to an SI or a managed services company who will run the show for me, and then the hardware remains hardware with the NEP. This in itself as a concept is not well understood by a lot of CXOs, because in their mind, they think that it's an overhead. I have to involve 3 more parties and I have to pay more money. Which to me, I challenge that and say it is not necessarily true, because even for the vertical stack, you are paying the NEP, both the hardware plus the software. If the NEP can't provide you the software, then you're limited to the NEP. And therefore, you're restricting yourself not to perhaps monetize the network as much as you should. As an operator, your aim should be to, that's your real estate. Your real estate is your network at the end of the day.
Anyone else wants to add anything?
I think,
If I
yes,
if I
please.
may add just one point regarding what you say, is one of the slowdown in my experience regarding this 5G is also associated with the service and what is the killer application that you see. And we saw the early leader or pioneer was the Taiwan, that they saw the gaming and the AR or VR one, some of the key leading solution that they have made a massive use case or also application. Unfortunately, this use case was not fully adopted or accepted from a European market because it's more old. There are old people, so all this VR gaming that you need to have the headset was not accepted. This is also one other reason. I really hope that now with the Gen AI, there will come some sort of innovative idea that it will bringing back the speed regarding this 5G and moving at a faster speed towards 5G. Because if you want to have a service, the service need to be have a positive return. So you only invested when you see the killer application or you see application that they make monetize your network. This is my key point.
Dr. Rodolfo, I just want to add one point here. Just very quick one is that 2 weeks ago, in parallel of the DTW forum, the Deutsche Telekom had an event, Digital X, and they launched the network slicing for games, right? Gaming.
Yeah.
And I was really totally surprised. Gaming in Europe pioneered in Germany because gaming is something like okay, in Middle East like Saudi or in Korea or even Thailand, I can understand that, but first time slicing in gaming, so that was quite impressive, really impressive. Let's see what will be the result.
Yeah, because the gaming, when the first time they was launching in Taiwan, they realized that there was some issue of stalling. So therefore they could not cope with the 4G. And they were one of the first to move in towards the 5G for having this efficiency and the fast performance.
Vicky, are you planning to speak anything? No, okay. So, yeah, that's good. Riza, you have anything to say?
Hello? Can
Yes,
I
Vicky.
add some points here?
Yeah.
Yes. We were just talking about how the network or 5G network can monetize the market or monetize from the service. So you were talking about the API or how to control the quality of the service. So as a 5G core network software as a service provider, we are providing like OAM or orchestration, administration, this platform, and also API to our partners so they can make a quick control for the service that they provide to their end user. So that's how we are providing our service to our partners. But at the same time, we don't sell our service to them. We don't face the end enterprise. So we offer our service and the software to our system vendors. system vendor partners. So they will integrate our 5G core software into their system. So they will have the full control. And they can also sell this whole system to operator. So they, our partner can control this, can monitor the whole service performance for their enterprise customers. And when we are talking about the trend of the 5G network, there are two aspects. One is one for the operator. The first one aspect is public network. Public network, if they want to reduce the overall price. That's why they try to bring the 5G or the disaggregation concept into this market. But actually, the vendors, the performance and the reliability cannot catch this public network performance. So that's why it's not the Open RAN is not really mature enough for the public network. But now, as they have introduced this disaggregation technology, so all the vendors and the manufacturers in the global, they want to take this market. So all the vendors and manufacturers, they are developing, they are investing in this technology, try to grab this private 5G network market. So now, take Taiwan as an example, or in Japan, the government, they have just invested a huge amount of investment, try to help the local industry to make a digital transformation by adopting 5G, private 5G network. Or they at the same time, they want to help these 5G network suppliers and the vendors to have some practice in this kind of POC cases. So this is much we see from this from the trend. So that's what I want to add here. Thank you.
Thank you, Vicky. Thank you. Anyone wants to add anything?
Yep, I could add something shortly. Yeah, so of course, from our point of view, the 5G operators, they are maybe hesitant to invest into more slicing or more of the other new stuff in 5G. But I think they should also be brave in providing services themselves. Like, for example, what I presented, the location-based AR stuff or the gaming stuff that was mentioned, or some of the others. So they are now really leaving the markets open to somebody else to find the killer app that was mentioned, and not themselves. So yeah, for example, this visual positioning would be a way for them to provide services to enterprise customers, to consumer customers, to developers, and not leave all of the value add to Snaps and Facebooks and TikToks of the world. But we'll see how it goes. I'm sure that in some of the countries, like here earlier mentioned already, that Asia and the US are much maybe taking a bit more risk and venturing into new things quicker than the European MNOs. So that's definitely happening. The baseball example that I showed in my presentation, T-Mobile was one of the partners in that project. So they wanted to show the latency of 5G with that application. So you were able to, in addition to those visual aspects that we saw, those statistics in AR, you were able to get the audio from I don't know, was it from TV or radio, which you usually don't get, real time. It's always too late, and then it's just annoying in a game. But you were able to get the audio their favorite voices explaining the game with 5G, because then there's no latency. So T-Mobile is also looking for these nice ways to show the advantage of 5G. So let's hope that at least in the US and in Asia, those operators will take quicker steps towards new services.
Thank you, Baivi. Anyone else have anything to say? If not, then I would really thank to all the speakers. Thank you for your time. I really appreciate to make this event happen. So your valuable content and your valuable information will be truly will be helpful to the audience, mainly the mobile network operators, the telecom vendors, universities, researchers, the verticals, enterprises that were watching via the YouTube, and also those visitors via our LinkedIn page as well. So thank you again. The video will be uploaded on our YouTube in within a couple of hours. And to the audience, please do subscribe on our YouTube channel, Exchanging Ideas Global 5G Evolution. And see you again. Thank you again. Thank you so much.
Thank you. See you.
Thank you very much, Kanesh,
Bye-bye.
for leading
Bye.
this global 5G evolution. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.